Hey everybody, it's Greg Miliatis from StartMyConsultingBusiness.com, and today I want to talk to you about a really cool technique that I call the role stacking method. And essentially what it is, it's an easy way to convert prospects into clients. So one thing that nearly all of you have told me that you struggle with is sales. So essentially converting or creating clients from prospects. And even though you might have a solid niche that's a sufficient size, may have low competition, and may be profitable, and that's according to what I call the niche success equation, you can still struggle with getting consulting work if you don't know how to create clients from prospects, if you don't know how to turn prospects into clients. So the role stacking method helps you do just that, convert prospects into clients much more easily. Now, what typically happens when you start consulting, even if you've been doing it for a while, is that when you talk to prospects, you give them an overview of your services, the kind of services that you provide, your skills and experience, and how you're the best person for the job. And that's all, kind of typically, that's typical. That's what I did when I started as well. But what usually happens at this point when you're talking to a client is a few things. Either the prospect says something like, "Oh, that's nice, but I don't think we have a need for that right now, or we'll call you if you need anything." Or they don't think that your services can help them. Another thing that often happens is what you provide doesn't appear to be a priority for them. So whatever the case, though, the prospect isn't going to convert into a client with billable consulting work. So you're going to keep prospecting, making calls, meeting with prospects, and essentially getting the same results and probably getting really frustrated and discouraged. I remember going through this exact same thing when I first started. It was extremely discouraging to get rejected. So but the thing is, that's no way to create your ideal lifestyle, which is, after all, what we're all working on here. Creating our ideal lifestyle, trying to get more freedom, more flexibility, increase our income, all those sorts of things. Now, if we step back a bit, what we see is that we're coming at it from our own perspective, where we have our skills and experience and we want to help the client. That's where we're coming at it from. But the client is coming at it from their perspective, where they have their problems to solve, their own problems to solve. So you each have your own roles. You versus a client is sort of how it is, or the prospect. But they don't meet. There's really no overlap between those two things. And so the client doesn't see any value, or I should say the prospect, they're not a client yet. The prospect doesn't see any value in what you provide. So you've got your role, which is getting clients and billable consulting work, and the client has their role, which is solving their own problems. Now, what if you came at it from the same point of view as your prospect? What if you started the conversation talking about the exact problems that they want to solve? Now, that's essentially the role stacking method. You overlay your role on top of your prospects and reframe or reposition yourself so that you are in direct alignment with what your prospect is interested in, what their biggest problems are. So here's an example. So say that you do human resources consulting, HR consulting and services, where you might help companies with their hiring, firing, staffing, maybe employee training, policies, procedures, benefits, all that kind of stuff that HR folks do. Now, most companies tend to think of human resources as an administrative cost, a necessary cost of doing business. And it's kind of low on their priority list. So what they really care about is building their business, increasing revenue, getting more customers, reducing costs, all those sorts of things. So if they see human resources as an administrative cost, they're definitely going to see your services as something they'd rather do without, a pretty low priority thing. So do you think that they're going to care about a new employee handbook or how to post a job on Monster.com? No, they don't care. That's not in their priority list. It's a cost to them. So right there you can see the two different roles. You provide HR services, and you want to help companies, of course, and the prospect sees you as a cost with very little benefit. Something that might just be nice to have. But what if instead of talking about the services you provide, you talked about how you can reduce employee costs and how employees who are well-trained and energetic actually produce exponential sales growth? Then do you think that the prospect is going to be interested? Of course. I mean, it just makes sense because you're talking about the exact things that they care about. So what you've done there is you've just stacked your role onto your prospects. It's the role stacking method. Now you can start talking about the specific measurable results that you can provide, making sure that those results are what your client cares most about. So there you have it. It's essentially merging what you do framing it within what your client's biggest problems are. That's the role stacking method. You reposition yourself so that you're in direct alignment with your clients, your prospects' most pressing problems. And that's when you do that, you're going to have a much easier time converting your prospects into clients and making them become clients that have billable consulting work for you. So when you have clients and billable work, you're well on your way to creating your ideal lifestyle, which again is what we're all trying to do here, trying to have more flexibility, more freedom, higher income, and all that stuff helps bring us more toward our ideal lifestyle, whatever that looks like for you. So that's it for now. That's the role stacking method. If you like this, please email me, click like on the video, or leave a comment. Thanks, and we'll talk soon.